Hello and welcome to Planet Zoo. My name is Plunko and I'm back with part 3. I believe this should be the final part of my zoo tour series. Today, I think I'm probably most excited for this part, to be honest, because this will feature my arguably two kind of best and most favorite zoos. The first being the haunted zoos that I did. So this one is I made during the month of October, and I themed it after kind of more like scary and creepy and like haunted Halloween habitats. So let's jump into this one and take a look. I'm very excited to show it. Um, I think I kind of went crazy with the different themes. Like each habitat has like a very unique style, and it just turned out very interesting. So let's get right into it. Wait for it to load. All right. Oh, you can see the little bit of a spoiler for like a boneyard, but it's like a good image to kind of show what this zoo looks like. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. We have a very like kind of creepy looking entrance. So I wouldn't say this is necessarily like Halloween themed. I tried to do more like kind of creepy, scary exhibits. Kind of have to stretch your imagination a little bit because there's only so much you can do in these types of games. Only so many themes you can kind of stick with. So they're not all going to be like super scary, but I try to do like more sinister looking habitats. So yeah, this kind of very cool like bristlecone entryway, and then leading into the haunted house. This was a big struggle to make. It was not an enjoyable time trying to get like a house to look this good. Um, Very interesting, like the roof shapes and like the whole shape of the buildings. But this is my spider house. So if we go into here, we see all the different types of spiders. Oop, if we don't get stuck in the flooring, kind of zoom back down. But yes, this is all of the different like spiders in here. Um, I just love this like boarded windows, kind of like broken shutters all around here. So it's definitely quite the undertaking for this haunted mansion kind of house. And then it's kind of like Victorian themed. So we have like these overgrown, like old Victorian gardens with these like, kind of like Gothic style fences. This is a like walk-through bat habitat for the, I believe the, what bat are these? See if I can click on it. Spectral flying fox. Yes. So we have like a little walk-through exhibit for these guys and the overgrown garden. I love this little like kind of cellar door right here. I always had to point it out because it looks so good. Like a little detail that just really ties everything together. And I feel like it's very iconic to have like a cellar door for a haunted house. Moving this way. A well right there. Lots of like plants. Lots of plants. I might have went a little too crazy. I think you can kind of see my plant addiction like come through in full force. Custard apple trees, white sages, lots of like flowers and these arrowwood bushes, kind of blending in like a whole bunch of different types of plants together to form this like very dense like kind of forest. This way are the raccoons and skunks, kind of continuing the like heavily forested look. We have lots of like plants and flowers. Oh, those little baby raccoons are so cute. I love them. So good. Moving this way though. Oh, these like little climbing forts are very nice. Forgot about these. I made some like cool stuff with these bridges kind of going across. Little kind of like shelter for the raccoons and skunks. And then over here is kind of like a swampy, like marshland, I suppose. Of like fog coming off of these little pools of water. Yeah, ignore this this water jet rock. Gotta find a better place for that. Um, yeah, I do really like this kind of like stone, like twilight kind of viewing barrier for the habitat, as well as these little education boards using the kind of metal bandings and these like wooden beams. Okay, let's go to the right next. So we have like a little pathway that kind of loops down through the haunted house, down this way, into the well, there's a little pumpkin patch right there. Yeah, some pumpkin patches, very Halloween themed. A lot of these kind of like mossy stones for the kind of guest like food courts. Some ATMs covered in bushes. But maybe go and fix those at some point. Oh god, it looks like well, it's not a very good like, or not very sanitary to be honest. These like little plants poking through to the French fries. Not very good, but I do love like this mossy stone. So just kind of recoloring the mortar colors as like a green to kind of show like moss growing in between the cracks. Yes, this is a palace cat habitat. So I try to do like a fairy tale enchanted forest because when I first saw the palace cats, they look like the Cheshire cat from Alice in Wonderland. So I figured for these guys, we need to do some sort of like kind of fairy tale, like Y intersection, like choose a door, lots of like mushrooms, like a very fairy tale Alice in Wonderland forest. And then I also have the old world swallowtail, like in this exhibit as well. So you'll see some butterflies kind of fluttering around. Because if you're gonna do like a flower forest, you need to have butterflies. I love like these mushroom structures and different colors and different shades. Because there's like kind of magenta and black ones. Over here, kind of like fall colors with this kind of like darker brownish red and orange. It's a lovely habitat. A very fun idea. Okay, this is probably one of the coolest parts of the zoo. We have a cave section. So coming in here, I have a kind of underground like cavern for the Egyptian fruit bats. But even better down this way, we have an underground like water pool right here for the platypus. So you can see lots of like stalactites and stalagmites in this like underground um, of cave, and it is just so amazing. I'm so happy with how this turned out. It is just incredible. Such a fun and cool idea. It's just, yeah, I could just look at this all day. I feel like it'd be so cool just to come down here and like look at this like underwater or kind of like underground pool of water and see the platypus like swimming all throughout the stalactites and stalagmites and little like kind of gemstones and crystals like buried into the rock wall. It's just, yeah, it's just like breathtaking. I'm so happy that it turned out good and I just had the ability to make something like this after all those kind of hours of practice. Um, Definitely recommend like making a structure like this at some point, like, kind of building some creative habitats that kind of like in caves, like underground. Moving up this way, we have, oh yeah, the outdoor section to the platypus. So we have like you can see like the cave entrance to the water right there, and then just kind of some above ground with these cabbage trees and the golden sand sedge. I do also love this kind of like wood and rock and fence wall right there. I think at this point too, I started to like incorporate my like keeper huts and staff rooms like into the habitat itself. So you'll notice like in a lot of these sections, I have like over here, for example, with the raccoons and skunks, I have like staff rooms and zookeeper huts kind of built onto the habitat. Like each habitat has its own keeper hut and staff room. I don't know if that's the best way to do things. I'm not that good at like park management and like micromanaging your workers. I tend to just focus more on like building habitats and like placing plants and rocks, but I think it is I think it's like a very nice idea to have like the zookeeper facilities kind of built onto the habitat. Kind of alleviates any like walking distance issues. Um, this is, oh yeah, this is the very crazy idea. I forgot about this one, but I did a kind of like an abandoned like science research facility. So again, like these aren't very like kind of haunted, like scary Halloween themed habitats. kind of have to like stretch your imagination a little bit, but I feel like an abandoned like research facility in the mountains, like a good setting for like a scary game. We have this like very like overgrown building with like these antennas on top and like science equipment and different like air conditioning units kind of protruding out of the roof. Have some like kind of broken glass up in front right here where there's like trees kind of growing into it. And then like a little kind of security guard post leading into a like a garage, maybe like a bunker in here. There's a little spectacle bear. He's like a little scientist. He's got like his little glasses on. He's ready to do research in this facility. I love like the mixture of like scaevola bushes with these aquatic faux rocks or these like rusty barrels and different kind of plants and trees like all layered together. Up here is like it's like a little spilled barrel with like this toxic sludge leaking out of it. All this like rust. I promise it's rust. I had people on stream kind of come in and say it looks like blood. If you want, it could be blood, but I was trying to go for like a rusty kind of metal look for this building. Oh, you have like a little broken like fence right there with a log kind of falling all over it. Like the cracked glass. A very fun idea. So trying to go for like a haunted, like abandoned, kind of scary, like medical research facility. Who knows what they're researching inside of here? I guess it's empty inside. But and then over here, again, not very scary, but I try to do like some sort of like abandoned like lumber mill. So we have this kind of like boarded up like log cabin, and then over here, hopefully it seems familiar, but I tried to model this after the Skyrim like sawmills. So if it looks familiar, that's what this is from. Tried to like copy that look and like a little saw blade right there with these logs like going to get cut and like a little moving what is these called? A water wheel. There we go. I don't know why I forgot that name. We have a water wheel right there kind of helping the saw move. Yeah, I feel like lumber yards are like a good theme for like a serial killer, like a scary environment. I also try to do like where part of it's kind of like cut down, so you see a lot of these like kind of tree stumps, and then kind of the forest is like coming back and like regrowing into the abandoned like lumberyard. Oh my god, what was that? That box just traveled all across the screen. Oh goodness. Um, but yeah, I tried to do like a like you said that where the forest was like cut down and the logs were like piled up, and then the forest is kind of like reclaiming it. So we see like grass and kind of bushes like growing over the abandoned like logs and kind of all like spreading all throughout the lumber yard. Again, like a very good mixture of like tall grass and different plants kind of all come together. There's the Arctic wolf playing with a piece of hanging meat. Lovely. Okay. Oh, he's on top of the he's on top of like the little tool shed. Oh, look at him. So cute. So cute. I love like the ivy spreads like growing onto the buildings are very cool as well. Get some fun stuff going on with that. Moving on next is probably like I think it's my favorite, well, probably my second favorite habitat in this entire zoo. But here is the graveyard. You can't have a haunted zoo without a graveyard. So I made a really cool, like, kind of decrepit, dilapidated, broken down church where you see like the boards are kind of falling apart. There's like moss and like ivy growing on the roofs. I have like an old bell tower. This is just amazing. Like the aesthetic of this habitat is just spot on and stellar. And I like the moss. We have like the oh, yeah, we have the gravestone with my sanity on it, and some of my viewers from Twitch. We have a couple of their names on the tombstones. I think this is just using the classic windows. Yeah, just kind of like putting these pieces together to form like tombstones. Yeah, there's more of the classic windows. Check out that shape, but I love like the like caskets and the dug up graves over here with like the shovels and the mounds of dirt. Oh, the rain, it's kind of added to the creepy vibe of things. This is just so incredible. Worked so hard to make this like kind of old like church, like using these like individual board pieces, making it so they're kind of like falling apart and like there's cracks in it, and finding like proper roofs. I think I spent like an entire stream on Twitch just like trying to figure out like what pieces of wood to use and like how to kind of make things like look nice and fit properly and fill in the gaps. Um, the badgers can actually like go into this shelter here, so you can see that the badgers like sleeping inside. They can walk underneath the like little opening sections and kind of get underneath those parts. Just looks amazing in the rain and like the fog coming off of the gravestones. So happy with this. Oh, also the candles kind of on top of the tombstones look very nice as well. All like the ivy growing on it and the different colors and like moss. Spectacular. This is like a very sinister looking like bristlecone forest for the boars. I just kind of fell in love with these bristlecone pieces and tried to do like a very like kind of sinister, sharp looking forest where parts of it is these like spiky bristlecone and creosote bushes, and then part of it is these kind of like muddy pools of water. Also made a like bristlecone like shelter using like all these pieces for some space for the what are these guys? The collared peccaries to sleep and lie down in. Okay, here's more of like the staff facilities, kind of all built onto here. And they have like a very nice view of the, well, I wouldn't say very nice, but they have somewhat of a view into the habitat from here. These kind of boarded twilight door panels as kind of shutters for these windows. Oh, I love like the North African painted wood beams kind of match the bristlecone in the color. So I tried to like kind of color match to make it seem very similar to the bristlecone pieces. I'm going to save my favorite for last. It's like a quick little teaser, but this is my favorite habitat. So we're going to save that for last. And we'll move on to the capybara, like witch hut swamp. I don't know if there's any capybaras in here right now. I don't know if I can find any. Oh, there's one. There we go. But yeah, I really wanted to do like a swamp witch style habitat. We have like these hanging herbs to dry, a bubbling cauldron right here. Oh, here's a quick tip. If you want to get like bins or benches on the ground without pathways, put the pathway down first. We'll just put a pathway down, and then we'll grab a, let's see, a bin. Put that down, maybe even like a bench. And then all you need to do is just delete the pathway. And there you go. Now you have these bins and benches on just kind of like flat ground. Because normally you can't put it on there. You have to put it on a pathway. It's like a little like quick workaround to do that. Yeah, though, it looks so good. All these like little potion ingredients. We have like kind of bowls of like eggs and mushrooms and incense and these cool lanterns. Kind of baskets of like flowers and gathered potion ingredients. I'm using the plant screens as kind of like doorways into the like mud huts. Up here is like an elevated structure, so I made like a pathway, and then using the like African painted branches to kind of show that this has been supported up. I also love this like South American door. It seems very like witch-like, like some sort of like, I think it really fits like the swamp witch vibe. A little like kind of creepy ladder right there. And you know, just like lots of like plants and trees like all around. A big tip, if you use the periwinkle It kind of looks like duckweed or like pond scum on top of like marshy areas. So if you want to get that very like swampy look, you have like a mixture of the hydrilla water plants and then also the periwinkle leaves. You just kind of take them and like sink them down to the ground a little bit, like into the water, and it looks perfect, like pond scum. Lots of these common reed strands, some kind of sitting logs. I have like a what is this? Oh yeah, the oceanic driftwood flooring as like a little kind of swamp bridge across the marsh. Wait. Over here is I treat it like a cannibal tribe, kind of like basing it after The Forest and the Sons of the Forest series. I use some pictures of that as like reference, but it was like a kind of like a cannibal tribe for the gorillas. And then I also have, I think I have Red River hogs in here. I don't see any, but I know they're in here somewhere, hiding from me. But yes, gorillas, like a very cool bonfire in the center using the what are these? The African branches. I'm also using, to get the fire effect, I have a whole bunch of torches underground. So if you want to see the kind of behind the scenes, I'm using the South American wall lights and Arctic wall lights to kind of give that like fire effect. This is very surprising. There's no like special fire effect in this game. It's all just kind of like dirt blowing and like water. No fire effects. So kind of mixing those torches with the African wall decorative fire pits. Kind of fill all that in. Using the palm thatch roofs and the African hanging cloths, like little lean-tos. I love this like fence though. Probably like my favorite parts, using the like mud walls and then these like kind of mesh and like wooden cages. I love when it like overhangs like this, kind of forming like some sort of like dome almost. Turned out very nice. Big fan of that. Like another like really interesting idea. I really tried to like challenge myself with just kind of silly and like weird and creative ideas, but I think it turned out very nice. So, oh, we see the gorilla playing on the keyboard. Look at him go. Over here is, yes, this is the bone graveyard for the hyenas. This was very challenging to make. I don't know if it really turned out that good, but I think it looks amazing with the using the like aquatic faux rock pieces that kind of form like rib cages and then kind of changing the color a little bit so it looks like there's dried blood in between the little cracks. Yeah, this is just so interesting to look at. Very sinister. Piles of bones around. Little like kind of caves for the guests to like look into and view. Like an above ground section right here as well. Really good. Using these, I guess they're kind of more like dinosaur bones. I guess like there's no like existing animals today that have rib cages that large, so this is more like a dinosaur bone graveyard. Still cool nonetheless. Very sinister and creepy looking. And then, okay, this is what I've been waiting for. Probably the best habitat I've ever done is... Let's get daytime. Hold on. Let's change the time real quick. Let's try to see if we can make it bright out, but this is my like abandoned kind of creepy like swamp. I just think this is so amazing. I did such an amazing job with this structure. I used like Oceania driftwood doors to like form the like old kind of wooden walls, and it just turned out so incredible. I like a little outhouse tucked back here. I just love like the mixture of like plants and just, it seems so like scenic. Like it seems like something out of like a video game, like a Resident Evil, some sort of like kind of creepy like abandoned swamp. We have this like falling apart like dock right here. These like broken boards, this like kind of sunken, waterlogged little boats, kind of these floating barrels. It was just so much fun to make this. I just think this will forever be my favorite habitat. Just because the look of it is just so like scenic. It's like straight out of a video game. I love like the metal like roofing, corrugated iron. We have like this rustic water tank, a little like tool shed right here. The mixture of like different periwinkle leaves and all these like cypress trees, which look amazing. Underwater hydrilla plants, these like mossy rocks, just everything coming together like just looks so detailed and so just like thought out and incredible. Will forever be my favorite by far. I could just like look at it all day. It's like, I think at this point, like I was just so into like the finer detail of things that I wanted to make things look as big as possible. And I think kind of setting like specific themes and like goals for myself kind of helped like hone in my like brain to focus on like one style, and that made it a lot easier to come up with like unique designs and really push myself to kind of get the look that I was going for. Yeah, so I think like the biggest recap of this one was like definitely like challenging myself to like come up with crazy themes and different ideas for each habitat and then like actually make them kind of come to life and work. And I think I did like a really good job, like a really great job actually, making everything like look like the theme I was going for. So I'm very proud of this zoo. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I like to show it off. Haunted mansions. All right. Okay, so let's move on to my last zoo, which is the most recent zoo that I've made. It is a Zookeeper Pack zoo, kind of based off of the latest DLC pack that Planet Zoo released, the Zookeeper Pack. So the goal of this one was kind of a smaller goal, but the whole theme was, can I fit like, or I guess like the goal of it was, I should say, would be to put all of the new DLC animals into one zoo. And that's what I set out to do, and that's what I did. Take a look at it. And then the theme of it was, I was trying to go for like a more like custom, like modern look. So you'll see in the entrance, I think a very beautiful entrance. Kind of more like thought out than I normally do, but trying to use like wood and glass in these kind of terrariums to form like a very modern look to everything. Have like some waterfalls over here on either side to kind of fill in those corners. And then, yeah, so like I said, the goal of this was to have all the new DLC animals into one park. So this one was fully completed and finished, looking amazing. Let's start with the African spur tortoise. There we go. I love this habitat. I love like the fence and the Oceania driftwood matching with the kind of like brighter mud walls. The whole like structure right here and the kind of like water pool kind of built into the like mud walls looks amazing. You just like look at this fencing all day though. The Oceania driftwood fence is like one of my favorite pieces in Planet Zoo. It looks so nice, and kind of mixing that with the mud walls just is a perfect combo. I definitely started to use more of the aquatic faux rocks, and I would kind of use these instead of the like kind of pre-built rocks, and I would just take these and like color them to the color that I wanted. But this had like really good shapes, and I love like the clumps of like smaller rocks like this. Very, very fun to use. Get some like good kind of like nature scenes with that. Low on cash. Oh, I guess some reason I'm losing money in this zoo. Very interesting. I think the problem is I always put on pause. Like I never actually play on play. I always just keep the game on pause, and I just like drain my money and never build it back up. This one over here, we have some very cool like bathrooms with terrariums placed in them. And then this is Kirk's Dick, a very funny animal. It's like a very tiny deer with like it's like a little like snout to it. But they're very cute. Very fun to like watch, like run and jump around. But here's another like indoor habitat. Part of it is outdoors. They have a little outdoor section to kind of get some fresh air. But yeah, this is like a nice, like kind of modern looking, lots of like glass indoor structure. And I just like love the shape. I really challenged myself to kind of do more unique shaped buildings. So I think it turned out very nice though. Glass like windows. Let's try to get in there, take a look. It's always challenging trying to get like your camera like into areas that kind of are built up. Yeah, like all these rock walls, really nice. These kind of plants like mixed in between the dirt trails. Very good one. It's a little like what is this? The Oceana thatched roof shelter right there is quite nice. Look at him climbing all these rocks over there. Goodness. Let him go. Yeah, these are very fun animals to watch. Very cute. They jump around quite often. Oh yeah, this one I tried to do like an admin medical hospital facility. Like a bigger structure that includes like let's see what's in here. My camera zoomed down. Oh yeah, we have like the veterinary clinic, the quarantine, like a zookeeper hut, like a staff room. There's like a research facility right there. But yeah, trying to come like move everything in like one big structure to make some sort of like zoo admin center. It can turn out very nice though. I do love like the modern like glass look with a mixture of wood. It's not like fully decorated inside. I'm not very good at like making structures or like decorating the interiors, but the building just turned out very, very good though. Moving on, let's go over here. This is a baboon habitat. These guys. Oh yeah, the Hamadryas baboons. This is an amazing habitat. I love like the big rock structure in the center and kind of hiding the foraging box like in between all the different rocks. And then down this way we have like mud pits and like a little like I should like a dried up like riverbed is what I was trying to go for. Also all of these like kind of wooden structures like built into the rock walls. Looks like a cool area. We have like this elevated boom platform right here with these kind of like nice breeze blocks and wood planks. Some like ivy growing on this. A little like staff room like over here kind of connected to the habitat. Like a nice like view right here, kind of looking at this like little hangout area for the baboons. And then also looking down this way, like a pool of water and some different like elevated terrains. Like all these like rock formations. Because I was reading like the baboons live in kind of like cliff sides, so I tried to recreate that for this habitat and make it kind of more realistic to where they actually like live. These rock walls look really good. Yeah. Moving on, we have some more bathrooms right there. And then over here is the palace cats. This is actually the palace cats and the markhor. It is two separate habitats, but I tried to build it as if it was like one kind of big terrain, like habitat thing. So you can see like, the rock formations kind of all blend together and look like they kind of continue between two like sections. They are separated by this like breeze block wall, but I think it was a very like interesting idea to have it look like one kind of big thing. Also, like the water kind of leading throughout, kind of going down with a little waterfall and then going into the palace cat habitat for the markhor habitat. I really like the use of like terrain for these ones, like lots of rocks. Maybe too many rocks. I don't know. But there's a lot of rocks in this habitat. kind of all placed throughout, forming some like cliff sides, little like rock shelter right there, and like a little cave over in this section. Kind of climbing platforms to palace cats. It's a very nice one though. I also love like I see a lot of zoos that have like this extra kind of like fencing to kind of block guests from like I guess like falling in maybe. So I try to incorporate that and make the zoo seem more realistic with this like kind of angled fence piece along there to kind of stop guests from falling in, I suppose. Over here, similar things. We have like the fence and a lot of more rocks. Lots of rocks. Maybe too many, like I said, but it looks really good though. The Markhor can kind of climb on all these rocks and like maneuver around. Looks like used to like different terrains and slopes. Looks quite nice as well. A rocky like backdrop. Very lovely. Also like this this is floating. Oh god, I did kind of do some like weird mistakes here and there. It's kind of interesting like going back through and noticing all of them. But I do really like this mesh fence with these kind of North African painted wood beams throughout these different habitats. Looks very nice. Over here is the African leopard, I believe. Not the best habitat. I wasn't really a big fan of like the fencing or how this is decorated. I will say I do like the climbing structure, but for the most part, the rest of it's very like simple and plain. Nothing too like spectacular. Have like a nice kind of like rock shelter right there though. The leopard to go into. And some kind of like trails leading throughout the habitat. Little like water pool over in this part, but yeah, very simple, very plain. Over here we have some like food court buildings and like a really big kind of like jungle terrarium on top of this structure. And some like picnic benches out this way. Kind of going for more of that like, you know, modern like glass, wood look. Hopefully I achieved it. I think it looks very like kind of modern and like fancy high tech. Some more staff built rooms like kind of tucked back here. A zookeeper hut and a staff room. Over here is the, I think this is Spectacle Bear, maybe? Yeah, Spectacle Bear. I think this habitat's amazing. I love like the bridge going across the two different kind of like hills. It's like a very cool climbing structure right there. Lots of like nice caves and like a river kind of going through. Like the different terrains and slopes and kind of secret hidden areas all throughout the habitats. But yeah, I think like the biggest like focal point is the bridge. I think it just looks so good. Turned out great. Had a lot of fun making this between the two like hills. And then oh yeah, over here is like a kind of secret viewing area. I think it's like a really good idea to have like multiple viewing sections into the habitat. So instead of just doing like kind of one like flat viewing area like this, kind of break it up and have like multiple sections where the guests like walk up to and look at the animals. I also love this kind of like bamboo and mesh fence. I think this turned out very nice as well. But yeah, like if like a good advice, I think in my opinion, is to have like kind of multiple viewing areas. So we have one like right here to the habitat, and then like one kind of hidden one up on this like platform. Okay, and finally, the cockerel sheephawk. Yes, that is what they're called. A crazy name for a very crazy animal. If anybody watched the Boofu as a kid, then you'll know. These guys are lovely. Also, I just noticed I have negative $7,000. I don't know why I have negative money. Very interesting. Not sure what happened with that, but we'll just kind of move past that real quick and we'll look at the cockerel sheephawk, a very funny animal name. This is a very crazy habitat. I tried to like a bigger like cage, but Also, like, I've never done like an area where the animals can like walk over the guests. So I want to do something with that where the lemurs can like kind of walk between two different sections, and the guests can kind of like look up above them and like see the lemurs like travel in between these two parts. I love like the bigger cages with the trees like inside of them, all these like crazy kind of climbing platforms. And then in the center part, all the platforms are being held up by like ropes from the ceiling. So instead of them being like flat on the glass, I'm using these like rope pieces to kind of connect them to the ceiling sections. Down here is just more trees, like a little foraging box. I kind of like move the terrain around it to make it seem more natural. Lots of like these scaevola bushes to kind of cover the grounds. Lots of trees. Yeah, this was the last habitat I made. Um, I haven't played any more Planet Zoo since then because I've been moving to Planet Coaster 2 and been building a lot in that game. So this was the last project that I worked on, my last zoo. But this one was very nice. I had a lot of fun like making this kind of like more like modern architecture style with these very like kind of triangle shaped roofs. I loved all the habitats in this. Um, if you'll remember, in my very first zoo I did, I had like a similar turtle habitat where it was kind of like a section in the middle for the habitat and like a pathway around it and like a bigger pathway around that. So kind of like two tiers of pathways. So I tried to like recreate that idea as like a more like better looking um, kind of piece. So hopefully I pulled it off. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. I had a lot of fun like touring through all of my zoos and kind of seeing like how much my style has changed, like how much better I got with like placing rocks and placing plants and kind of like layering different types of plants together to make it seem more like natural. It's very interesting. I think I have to go back to part 1 and kind of like take a look at my first zoo compared to this one and see like really how many changes I've made and how much better I've gotten this game. Because like any advice I have to give anybody who's like struggling to build in this game, because it is like very complex. It's just like keep at it, keep on practicing, don't give up. Like watch videos of people who play this game, look at pictures of like real life zoos, try to like replicate things you've seen in real life and in pictures and like build those in this game. Because I think for me at least, it's a lot easier to kind of like not necessarily like copy ideas, but like I'm not very creative when it comes to like coming up with my own like unique ideas. So I kind of like take a theme or like take a picture and try to like recreate it in my own way. So I definitely recommend that if like you're ever stuck and you don't know how to like progress as a builder in this game, just kind of like look at things and like try to copy them and like make them in your own way and like practice different like building styles and really just ultimately like challenge yourself to do crazy and silly and like unique ideas. And I think that'll greatly improve your building of this game. So I mean, even me, like I think I'm pretty good, but I still have a lot to learn and a lot to progress with. So yeah, well, thank you everyone for watching all these parts and all these zoo tours. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed.